Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Unrest, which is a two-player game by Pandasaurus Game, which is going to either play as the Rebellion or you're going to play as the Empire. And you're going to use, if you're the Rebellion, you're going to try to gain control of 3 locations to win, and if you're the Empire, you're going to try to prevent that to win. Let's go ahead down to the table here, and I'm going to show you how to play Unrest, and then we're going to come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, so this is the game of Unrest, and Unrest is going to be a two-player game. You're either going to be playing as the Rebellion or the Empire. If you're playing as the Rebellion, you're going to try to control 3 of these locations. If you're the Empire, you're going to try to prevent the Rebellion from being able to control 3 locations. Now, in this game, you're going to go over a series of turns, and you're going to continue until this deck runs out here. And once this deck runs out, you're going to have your final turn. And at that point, if the Rebellion has controlled 3 locations here, they'll win the game. If they have not, the Empire will win the game. Well, how do you play this game? And how do you get these locations? Well, every game, you're going to put out these different cards that the Rebellion is going to try to meet in order to claim a location. Now, this one is always out, and this is if you equal 21 or higher in any location, you can control it. That one's always out. You're going to shuffle up this deck, and there's a decent amount of cards in this deck here, and you're going to place out 3 more goals for that player. So here's 3 more. The rest can go in the box for now, so there's a lot of replayability in this game because there's a lot of different ways that the Rebellion will have to do things. So in the way these work is they're going to be simply how they're going to be listed on here. So, and it does explain how this works. So the total disruption value is more than the total supply value. So the disruption value, they're going to have cards with this symbol on it, and the supply value is going to be this. Now what this means is you have to have at least 3 value there. So if there's going to be several different card types on here, but like here's a disruption card. So you're going to have more than, so if I have this 5 here, I'd have to have at least 3 of the supply points. So if I have 2, even though this is greater, it wouldn't satisfy it. I'd also have to have a little bit more supply on there, at least 3 to be able to claim this. And as soon as I can do that in any location, I can claim that location. This one here, I'm going to have 8 plus upheaval, but have no disruption cards in that area. This one here, I'm going to have 8 supply or more in the area, but have no intel cards in that area. Well, how do we get these cards on here? How the game works. So you know how you could do these, and you could do these repeatedly. So I could get this goal repeatedly if I wanted to claim multiple places. Those are just the 4 different ways that I could claim a site. Well, the Rebellion gets this deck of cards here that you're going to shuffle up. Now, one thing to keep in mind is they have these misdirection cards in here. There's 4 of them. So there is some card counting in this game. It goes basically 2 through 6 here for these cards. And you have 4 misdirection cards. When you place down misdirection cards, normally you're going to place them face down because you don't want them to know it. And if any time this gets moved out of the game, even if it's face down, you have to reveal that this was a misdirection card to the Empire. But misdirection cards are nice because you want them to pick the Empire to pick those to not pick the cards you're trying to do. So you're going to pick an area of interest on this board here. I'm going to use this area of interest on the Rebellion's turn here to pick 2 different locations that you could place cards in. So maybe in the start of the game it doesn't matter too much. So I'll place that here. At the start of the game here, I would have had 5 cards in my hand. So I'm going to draw up 5 cards. And I'm going to pick 3 cards here. So I'm going to take a look at my hand, take a look at what I'm trying to do over here, and I could maybe just make 1 spot immediately. So what I could do, and I'm going to show you some downsides to this, what I could do, and see these things are like not affecting each other too much. So what I could do is I could put these 2 face down, and this one face up. Okay? So I've placed those out there. Now my opponent has to do 2 actions, and they can select from their available actions and perform those. Now on your little handy dandy player aid here, you could see what those actions are that you can do. And these actions here, I'm going to be able to pick 2 of them as long as they're unlocked. So the way that works is I could do surveillance, and what surveillance does is I can pick one of these cards and I could flip them over and see what it is. I could do blockade, and what that does is I can pick one of these 2 locations and say you can't deploy cards there. What this one here does, this one here is reroute. I can place a rebel card of my choice in any district, keeping its position the same. So I won't flip these over. The opponent won't flip these over unless they need to reveal them for some reason also. So the last thing I can do is I can do a destroy action, and that means I can take one of these cards and I can remove it from the game. So when the thing about the empires, when I pick these cards or these actions, I'm going to flip it over to the block side. So let's say, oh man, that yellow is bad, I'm going to destroy it. So I remove it from the game. I'll put it over here so you can always see what it is, and I'm always going to want to know what that is. Now if I destroyed a face down card, it would remain face down, so I wouldn't know what it is, but I would have got rid of it. And the next thing I want to do is, I'm not sure what you're doing, but I'm going to go ahead and flip this one here, and I'm going to place this one way over here. And that's sort of thwarted the plans of the other player. They're going to place it in one of these 2 now of any of the remaining cards they have left, and it'll go there. Now the Empire player has 2 of these actions that are not available. So when we go into the next turn here, the Rebellion player is going to draw 3 cards, so they're going to be back up to 5 cards. And they're going to take a look, and they're going to, ooh, I have 2 misdirections. Maybe I know that you can do surveillance and you can do blockade. So you're not going to be able to destroy one of my cards, which is going to be super helpful. I'm still looking at trying to finish one of these. I can look at this at any time. I know that this is a supply, and what I could do is I could try to just finish this off because I need 8+. This is a 5, this is a 3, and I know that player can't do anything. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. Now the worst thing that could possibly happen is they just blockade that. So the area interest I picked was again this, and now the Empire can take their turn. So the Empire is going to take a look here and it's going to be like, okay, well I can surveil, so I'll go ahead and surveil. What is this card? Oh, well, I can surmise that you're going to want to put that here, so I'm going to go ahead and block this. Now you might think that was bad, but it didn't really hurt that much. I have to now place all these cards in this one location, and I did sneak this one in, but of course I wasn't thinking really well because it got hurt by the disrupt. I probably should have used one of these misdirects, but anyway, now as part of the cleanup, we check to see. Now, one thing I did miss is at the end of each round here, the Rebellion player is going to check to see if they have won any of these locations. We haven't won any location yet, so we're going to go ahead and do the cleanup. So the Empire player is going to get all their actions back. This is going to pick up because I'm going to pick a new place. The Rebellion player is going to get 3 new cards. I'm going to take a look at these cards and see what I want to do. Well, I sort of ruined my own spot there, sort of. I know that this is here, but unfortunately that's there. But I also have the supply there, 3 supply, but they could see that I have 3 supply. So this time, what I think that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make sure I can get 3 supply there. So I'm going to go ahead and put these 2, I'm going to go ahead and pick this area again. I'm going to put 2 here and 1 up. All right. I also know that I have this here. So let's say it's now the Empire's turn because I put my 2 face down and my 1 face up. And the Empire is going to say, okay, you know what? I really want to see what you're doing. I'm going to go, oh, it's a misdirection card. That gets removed. All right. So that's good. You know what? This is getting a little dangerous. Maybe I'll go ahead and I'll destroy this 4 because it's a big number. Now I can secretly place this over here. So now I'm at 7. So I'm even closer. So I did sort of reach my goal of getting closer to do another thing. We haven't won anything yet, so we'll go into the next round. I checked Everything's good. The Empire player doesn't have all 4 of these used, so that doesn't get flipped. So now it's my turn again. Ooh, this is getting even better. But I have these, which are a pain. And they have a blockade available and a switch. So, you know what? I'm afraid of them using a blockade. But what's really cool here is they have no destroy, but I have a lot of points here. So I could just try to get out my big points right now. So I could go here and say, yeah, do your worst. All right. So the Empire's play turn. They're going to be like, okay, well, maybe they keep throwing these upheaval things. All right, this upheaval is pretty high. Maybe there's upheaval here. I don't know. So I'm going to use this, and I'll move this upheaval here. That's a dangerous card. I'll move it here. And then I'm going to blockade. Well, actually, I would have picked here for area of interest. Sorry. Then I'm going to go ahead and blockade. No, I would have picked there. Sorry. So I'm still picking between here. So this looks like a mess. So I'm going to go ahead and blockade this side. So this player now needs to put both of these here. Now I have 11. I have 11. I have, which they wouldn't be able to see this. So I have 12. I have 17, and I have 22 points here. So that I can say now I claim this spot using revolution. So this flips. These come to me, and this moves over. Now I'm going to look over here. That was supply. This is that. So that's still fine, but I've claimed a location. Now if I claim 3 of these locations, I will win the game, and you'll just slide these over and we'll start the next round. I'll pick my area of interest, will be between 2, and so on. These will flip over for that player. Now we're going to continue on until we get towards the end of the deck. All right, so we're going to try to go, and we're going to keep on going until we get to the final encounter. And the final encounter is going to occur when there's less than 3 cards left. At that point, the final encounter is going to happen. What's going to happen there is the Rebellion player will gain that card, but then they're going to pick not an area of interest, but anywhere on the board here when they're going to place out their cards. So they're still going to put 2 face down and 1 face up, and the Empire player is going to be able to do whatever actions they have available. And when that's done, the Rebel player will be able to place these on any of the remaining locations unless there's like a blockade on one of them. And then if the Rebellion player has successfully been able to get 3 of these at that point, they win the game. Otherwise, the Empire will win the game. And that's it. That's going to be how you play Unrest. Now, there is a variant that you can play, which is called the Capital variant. The only complaint I have with this entire game is in the Capital variant, instead of 21 for Revolution, it's 25, because if you ever lose the Capital, if the Rebellion ever takes the Capital, they immediately win, and the Empire loses, but it's 25 instead of 21. Why they didn't print an extra card just for that, I have no idea. But that's the only problem I have with this game at all. They should have printed another card that matched 25 if they have that variant instead of just know that it's 25. So other than that, that's the variant you can play with the game. Let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on Unrest. So that was Unrest. Component quality for this game is really great. I love those big chunky plastic tokens that you get for the Empire, and the card quality is amazing for this game. Cardboard for those locations is really thick and nice. Component quality is amazing. Art on the game I really like a lot. I think the art is really great. So let's go ahead into gameplay. Now, gameplay for this game is a really fun push and pull game. I really like games like Battle Line. So this game is up my alley here, where you're trying to basically gain different locations, and in this case you're trying to also prevent it if you're the opponent. I really like the different objectives for being able to claim locations changing every game. A lot of replayability in that, and I really like flipping between those two. So you could do best out of 3 for someone paying the Rebellion, or the Empire, which I do recommend. It's not in the rule book, it's just one game. Or you can switch on and off and just be the first player to win 3 games wins. So once you play the Rebellion, then next game you play the Empire. I do actually suggest that variant a lot. I think that adds a lot to it. But you can, like in the rules, it doesn't actually say to do that. In this game here, you could just play through one game and it takes 10 to 15 minutes and you're ready to go. Do appreciate the game. It plays very quickly and it's a really nice 2-player game. Very compact size, so you can take this on the go and go out, and whenever with someone you're just going to play a 2-player game, you can bust this out and play it a couple times and move on to other things. So I do appreciate it for that too. This game here is very engaging too, and there's a lot of different decisions and a lot of bluffing that you can do in this game. So there's a lot of different strategies that you can employ in here. And there's a lot of, like, if you're the Empire, like, what are they doing? Where are they putting these things? What are these face down cards? And if you're the Rebellion, you're like, oh my gosh, they have those 2 actions available. What the heck do I do to be able to get these? And a lot of tension in the game, good tension. I really appreciate it. Very few games make it into my collection, but this one definitely is as a 2-player game. So that was Unrest, which is a 2-player game by Pandasaurus Games, and my thoughts on it. Thank you for watching.